Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Ritika and today we are going to solve the LeetCode daily problem maximum matrix sum. So let's quickly understand what the problem states. You are given an n cross n integer matrix. You can do the following operation any number of times. Choose any two adjacent elements of matrix and multiply each of them by -1. Two elements are considered adjacent if and only if they share a border. Your goal is to maximize the summation of matrix elements. Return the maximum sum of the matrix elements using the operation mentioned above. So basically, we are given an n cross n integer matrix and we have to return the maximum sum of the matrix element after performing the given operation. The operation can be performed any number of times and the operation states that we can choose two adjacent elements of the matrix and multiply both of them by -1. Now adjacent elements are defined as if and only if the two elements share a border. For example, we have a matrix given as 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. Now 1 and -1 share a border, so these two elements are adjacent. Now if we perform the operation, that is we can multiply -1 with these two elements, then we have the matrix looks like -1 1 -1 1. Again, if we perform the operation on these two elements, we have the ultimate matrix that is 1 1 1 1, and the summation of this matrix will be 4, that is the maximum possible sum. Similarly, in another example, we have 1 2 3 -1 -2 -3 1 2 3. If we perform the operation on -2 and -3, we have the matrix looks like 1 2 3 -1 2 3 1 2 3, and the summation will be 16, that is the maximum possible sum. Now coming to the constraint, we have n, that is the row and column length, and n lies in between 2 to 250, and matrix ij, that elements are lies between -10 to the power 5 to 10 to the power 5. As n is not very large, so we can simply traverse to each element of the matrix that consists of two for loops. Now see the matrix given in the example, we can see is the matrix consists of both positive and negative numbers. In the ideal situation, if all the elements present in the matrix are positive, then what happens? The summation will be the highest possible sum. But if they are present in negative elements, then what happens? As given in the operation, we can multiply the elements by -1. So we can turn any of the element of the matrix to positive numbers if they are negative already. But what happens if the number of negative elements are odd or even? In the first example, we have even number of negative elements. As they are pair up together in the operation performed, at the end, all the elements present in the matrix will ultimately turn into positive. But if the numbers are if the number of negative elements are odd, then there will be at least one element left at the end that will stay negative. So this is the intuition of our optimal approach. In this process, we will first store all the first add it up or sum up all the elements absolute value to the result. See, at the same time, we will keep track of the negative elements. Is it odd numbers present or even number? And as well as we will try to minimize the negative element present in odd cases to maximize the summation. This is all about the approach. Now let's go through the Python code for better understanding. So as discussed in our approach, we have a total sum that will store or sum up all the elements absolute value in the matrix, that is initially 0. Minimum absolute value store initially float infinity, that will keep track of the element minimum absolute value of the elements in present in the matrix, and negative count store the number of negative elements in the matrix. Now we will go through each element in the matrix, and total sum will add it up with absolute value of each element. If the value is negative, then we will increase negative count by 1. Minimum absolute value will update it every time we found a minimum value, and if negative count is odd, then we will subtract twice of minimum absolute value from total sum. Why we are using twice? Because see, we first we have already added all the elements absolute value to total sum. So first of all, this minus 1 is added to the total sum as 1. That's why we are first remove. For first removal, we are removing the 1, and the second removal, we are removing it as a negative number, that is minus 1. That's why we are using twice of minimum absolute value. Now finally we will return total sum, and now run the code. Yes, it's running. Now submit. Yeah, so our code is running good. If you like the video and approach, please do like, share and subscribe our video and follow for more such content. Thank you.